Good morning, students. So in this class, you are going to study about the second part in the human reproduction. In the first part, you have seen in the previous video, you have studied about male reproductive organs, female reproductive organs, and we have studied up to spermatogenesis. So now, today we are going to study about the remaining part, that is the structure of the human sperm, and then oogenesis, and after that menstrual cycle, lactation, parturition, pregnancy. So all these things we are going to study today. Okay, so this is the structure of the sperm. This is also very important for the examination point of view. Okay, you must know to draw the diagram of the human sperm and its parts. You must know to label the parts. Here, three main regions: head, middle piece, and tail. Three regions are there. In the head, acrosome and nucleus, and neck, a short neck is there, and after that, in the middle region, mitochondria is there, that is providing energy for the movement of the sperm, and at last tail. And about the acrosome, that is very much important for capacitation. Capacitation is the process by which a sperm enter the ovum. For that purpose, acrosome is very important. That contains some enzymes, acrosome, hyaluronidase, an enzyme which is used for breaking the ovum during fertilization. Okay, so this is the structure of the human sperm. And the next process, oogenesis. Oogenesis is the development of ovum, the process of development of ovum. Okay, spermatogenesis is already over, that is the process of production of sperm. So this oogenesis is the process of production of ovum. Okay, first, oogonia cells, they are otherwise called egg mother cells. So they are developed from the fetus itself. When a female child is born, during the development itself, the germinal epithelium cells are there that produce millions of egg mother cells, or oogonia. So oogonia are present from the birth of the child. If the child is female child, from the birth itself, their oogonia are there. Okay, these oogonia starts dividing to form a primary oocyte. The diagram, oogonia undergoes mitotic division and produce many primary oocytes. And then these primary oocytes undergo meiosis. Meiosis is actually otherwise reduction division. Due to this meiosis, the chromosomes number will be reduced. Look at this. In the primary oocyte, the number of chromosomes will be 2n stage, that is diploid. Whereas in the secondary oocyte, the number of chromosome is only 1, that is 23 chromosomes. In the primary oocyte, it is 46 chromosomes, but in the secondary oocytes, only 23 chromosomes are there. Okay, the first meiotic division is over. The first meiotic division give rise to two unequal cells. Because of this meiosis, two unequal cells are there. One is a large secondary oocyte, and the other is a small polar body, that is first polar body, and the polar body will disintegrate. Okay, the polar bodies will disintegrate. Only ovum, only the secondary oocytes will be again undergoes the next division, that is meiosis 2. As a result of the meiosis 2, it will also produce two unequal sized cells. One is large second ovum and a small cell, that is the polar body. Okay. So only one haploid ovum is produced at last. From the primary oocyte, a primary oocyte can produce only one ovum. Okay, whereas in spermatogenesis, the primary spermatocyte can produce four sperm, but in oogenesis it produces only one ovum. Okay. Next, now the structure of the ovum. The structure of the ovum. The human ovum is non-cladoid and alecital. What is non-cladoid? Non-cladoid in the sense there is no shell. Mostly in birds, you can see the presence of shells around the egg. That is cladoid egg. But here, the human egg is non-cladoid. There is no shell around the egg. There is no shell around the egg. That is so that it is called non-cladoid and also alecital. Alecital means there is no yolk, absence of yolk. Okay, in birds, eggs and all, what will be there? Yolk will be there. That is mesolecital or macrolecital. So based on the presence of the yolk, they are classified. So, but here, as there is no yolk, these eggs are called alecital. Okay, alecital egg and also non-cladoid egg. Now coming to the structure of the ovum. Three layers are there: corona radiata, zona pellucida, and then vitelline membrane. These three layers are there around the egg. And then inside, nucleus, germinal vesicles are there, and the cytoplasm within the egg is called ooplasm. So this is the general structure of the human ovum. Now coming to the next topic, menstrual cycle. So this menstrual cycle, this is about the reproductive life of the female. The menstrual cycle is about the reproductive life of the female, that is from the stage of puberty to menopause. So once the girl is attaining puberty, that is attaining maturity, and for about 28 days, there will be a cyclic changes occur in the uterus, that is especially in the inner layer of the uterus, that is in the endometrium. The cyclic changes occur in the endometrium that results the formation of menses. Okay, the cycle is actually starting from one menstrual period till the next one is called menstrual cycle. Okay, now what are the different phases of menstrual cycle? What are the different phases of menstrual cycle? One by one we are going to study. Actually there are four phases: menstrual phase, follicular phase, ovulatory phase, and luteal phase. Luteal phase is otherwise called secretory phase. Okay, and this is also very, very important regarding the examination. Okay, okay, now what is the first phase? Menstrual phase. What is the period? Actually the total period is for about 28 days, but the first phase is only last for 3 to 5 days. So menstrual phase is last only for 3 to 5 days, and during this period menstrual flow will be there. What is menstrual flow? What is menstrual flow? Menstrual flow is due to the breakdown of endometrial lining of the uterus. So what is endometrium? Look at this diagram. So this is the uterus. This is uterus. Okay, this is uterus, and the inner wall of the uterus is endometrium. This endometrium lining is breakdown. Breakdown of the endometrium results in the breakdown of blood vessels in this area. So as a result, the bleeding will be there. That blood will be discharged through this opening. Okay, the blood will be discharged through this vagina as menstrual fluid. Okay, this is called menses. So this period is menstrual phase. Okay, and during this phase there will be decline in the progesterone and estrogen. Okay, during this menstrual period both progesterone and estrogen will be low. Okay, menstruation occurs only if the release of the ovum is not fertilized. Okay, menses occur once if there is no fertilization. If fertilization takes place, there will be no further menstruation. Okay, so during the pregnancy there will be no menstruation, but if there is no fertilization for 28 days, there will be discharge of the blood through this vagina, that is menstruation. This period is over. That's it. That is menstrual phase. Menstrual phase. What is the second phase? Follicular phase, otherwise proliferative phase. So what is the period of this phase? From the 5th day of the cycle, okay, up to the 14th day. So the 14th day is actually the day of ovulation. So from the 5th day of the cycle to ovulation. Otherwise you can say 5th to 14th day of cycle. During this phase, the primary follicle grows and it becomes Graafian follicle. Okay, so look at this diagram. This is the primary follicle that undergoes maturation and it will become Graafian follicle. This is called, the third one is called Graafian follicle. And this Graafian follicle, so after that ovulation, the Graafian follicle will disintegrate or rupture. The rupture of the Graafian follicles will result in the release of the ovum, that is ovulation. Okay, so during this phase, what happened? The primary follicle is mature into Graafian follicle, and also one more process, the endometrium regenerates. What is endometrium? Endometrium is the inner wall of the inner layer of the uterus, that is also regenerates. Regenerates in the sense, what is there? The cells in the endometriums will form. New cells are formed. It is getting ready for accommodate the embryo. Okay. And during this period, the secretion of gonadotrophins like FSH and LH will be more. Okay. What about the next stage? Ovulatory phase. Ovulation takes place during the middle of the cycle. What is the middle of the cycle? The entire cycle is about 28 days. Then the middle of the cycle is 14th day. And during this time, both LH and FSH will be peak. The concentration of these two hormones will be high, LH and FSH. But the LH surge, in the sense maximum secretion of LH, though these two hormones are in the peak level, the LH surge, the high level of luteinizing hormone, induces the rupture of the Graafian follicle. Okay, now look at this diagram. This entire structure is Graafian follicle. This Graafian follicle is rupturing. Okay, where it is ruptured? Here it is ruptured. Look at this. Look at the arrow mark. Here it is ruptured. And from the Graafian follicle, what is released? Ovum is released. So that process is called ovulation. So the third phase is also over, and the fourth phase is luteal phase, otherwise secretory phase. So during this phase, the remaining part of the Graafian follicle is transformed into the transitory endocrine gland called corpus luteum. Okay, which is corpus luteum? The Graafian follicle Once ovulation is over, okay, now look at this diagram. Okay, this is the mature Graafian follicle. From the Graafian follicle, ovum is released, and this one is corpus luteum. From where corpus luteum is developed? It is developed from the mature Graafian follicle. So after the release of the ovum, this empty Graafian follicle is becoming corpus luteum. Okay, and then after that corpus luteum, it will produce some hormones, progesterone especially, and after that it will becomes corpus albicans. Okay, so this is the changes. Primary follicles, secondary follicles, and then here mature Graafian follicle. Now ovum is released, and after that the empty Graafian follicle is called corpus luteum, and after that it will become corpus albicans. Okay, and this corpus luteum secretes large amount of progesterone hormone that is needed for implantation. That is very much needed for implantation. Once fertilization takes place, the fertilized eggs must be implanted in the uterus. For the implantation of the uterus, for the implantation of the ovum in the uterus, progesterone hormone is vital. Okay, now why this is called secretory phase? The luteal phase is otherwise called the secretory phase. Why? Because the inner wall of the uterus, that is endometrium, that secretes some nutritious fluid for the fetus. For the developing embryo, it provides some nutrients. It secretes some nutrients. So that only this is called a secretory phase. And during pregnancy, all events of the menstrual cycle stops, and there will be no menstruation. Once fertilization takes place, the fertilized eggs will be implanted in the uterus, and after implantation and during this time, during the time of pregnancy, what will be stopped? Menstruation will be stopped. There will be further no menstruation. Okay, and next, corpus albicans. Corpus albicans is developed from corpus luteum. Okay, in the absence of fertilization, if there is no fertilization, the corpus luteum degenerates and it leaves a scar tissue called corpus albicans. Okay, if there is no fertilization, the disintegration of endometrium leading to the menstruation, marking the next cycle. Okay, if there is no fertilization, the endometrium, the corpus albicans, the blood vessels in the endometrium degenerates, ruptured, and there will be bleeding, and it will be the start of the next cycle. So, okay, are you clear about this four phases of the menstrual cycle? So now look at the diagram here. Only follicular phase and luteal phase are given, but what is there in the beginning? From 0 to 4 or 0 to 5, what is that? Menstrual phase. After that, follicular phase, and in this period ovulation is ovulatory phase, and after that only luteal phase. So what are these are the different hormones, FSH and LH, and LH will be more at the time of ovulation, during the mid cycle. For about in the 14th day of the cycle, LH will be more. LH, that is LH surge. And also in the luteal phase, the concentration of progesterone will be more. Actually, the progesterone is secreted by corpus luteum. This is corpus luteum. Corpus luteum secretes progesterone that is vital for pregnancy, that is vital for maintaining pregnancy. Okay, these things enough about menstrual cycle. Okay, you must know about the 4 phases of the menstrual cycle, and you must know about the periods. Okay, first 0 to 5, and then 5 to 14, and then after that 14th day, that is ovulatory phase, and after that 15th to the remaining period is luteal period. Okay. Now fertilization. Where fertilization takes place? Fertilization takes place in which part of the reproductive tract? Now look at this diagram. This is the female reproductive tract. Sperm is entering through this way. Actually, this is vagina. Through this birth canal, it will enter the uterus and it will go up to the fallopian tube. This is fallopian tube. Are you clear? This is fallopian tube. So here fallopian tube will be there in both sides. Here also one fallopian tube will be there. Okay, the sperm is entering through vagina and through uterus, and then it will reach the fallopian tube. Actually, this is the site where fertilization takes place. Okay, now look at this, the next diagram. This diagram is actually fallopian tube. The fallopian tube is enlarged here. Okay, this is only fallopian tube. In the fallopian tube itself, there are three parts. This is isthmus, ampulla, and the terminal part is infundibulum. Okay, infundibulum. But where fertilization takes place? In the ampulla region of the fallopian tube. Fertilization takes place in the fallopian tube, but exactly and at which part of the fallopian tube? Exactly in the ampulla region of the fallopian tube. Here only fertilization takes place. Okay, here only fertilization takes place. After fertilization, okay, what is fertilization? Fertilization is the union of sperm and ovum. Sperm comes through this way, but at the same time, egg, otherwise ovum, is developed from the ovary, and the ovary, from the ovary, ovulation will take place. After ovulation, the ovum will be transported to the fallopian tube. But now sperm and ovum are meeting in the fallopian tube where fertilization takes place, and after that the fertilized eggs moves towards the uterus and it will reaches the uterus where it is implanted. The fertilized eggs will be implanted in the uterus. Okay, here only it is implanted. Sperm is coming through this way and it reaches the fallopian tube, and then ovum developing in the ovary is also coming to the fallopian tube. Now both sperm and ovum are there in the fallopian tube. Fertilization takes place. After fertilization, the fertilized eggs moves and it reaches the uterus. In the uterus, it gets implanted. Good. What is next? This is acrosomal reaction. What is acrosomal reaction? The acrosome is present at the head region of the tail. In acrosome, some enzymes are there. Hydrolytic enzymes, that is actually hyaluronidase. That enzyme will break the layers of ovum. These layers of the ovum is break down by the action of these enzymes in the acrosome. As a result, the nucleus of the sperm will be enter into the ovum. As a result, fertilization takes place. So this reaction is called acrosomal reaction. Actually, this process is actually capacitation. Capacitation is the ability of the sperm to penetrate the sperm. Formation of fertilization membrane. So this is the enlarged structure of the fertilization. This is sperm and this is whole structure is ovum. Once the sperm is get into the ovum, what is produced? A envelope is produced, a membrane. What membrane? Fertilization membrane is produced. What is the purpose of the fertilization membrane? So this is the fertilization membrane. This fertilization membrane will prevent the entry of the further sperm into the ovum. Only one sperm only enter the egg. The entry of the remaining sperms into the egg will be prevented by the formation of the fertilization membrane. Fertilization membrane will prevent the entry of the remaining sperms into the ovum. Okay, this picture shows the process of ovulation and implantation. Okay, now look at the diagram very carefully. This is the structure of ovary. This is ovary. Ovary where only the follicles are there, primary follicles, secondary follicles, and then mature follicles, and that is mature Craffian follicles. And from the Craffian follicle, what is released? Ovum is released. Ovulation takes place. Okay, once the ovum is released, it will be taken to the fallopian tube. Fallopian tube. Okay, here only what is takes place? Fertilization takes place. Fertilization takes place in the fallopian tube. After fertilization, the fertilized eggs will be taken to the uterus, where it will be gets implanted. Okay, this diagram shows the process of ovulation and fertilization and implantation. Okay, this is the process where a single cell zygote is divided many times. It undergoes cell division and it will produce morula, blastocyst, okay, and later it will be developed into the embryo. Ectopic pregnancy. What is ectopic pregnancy? Pregnancy actually takes place in the uterus. Okay. Pregnancy must be take place in the uterus. Sometimes pregnancy takes place outside the uterus. If fertilization takes place outside the uterus in the sense in the fallopian tube or in the infundibulum, if it takes place, that is ectopic pregnancy. That is abnormal. So normally pregnancy must, pregnancy in the sense implantation. Implantation must be takes place in the uterus. If it takes other than the uterus, if implantation takes place other than the uterus, then it is ectopic pregnancy. Okay. Twins. Two types of twins. Monozygotic, dizygotic. Identical twins, fraternal twins. Now first one, this is identical twins. One sperm and one egg, they fused and form a zygote. Zygote is a single cell that undergoes the first division, the first cleavage division. So due to the first division, the two cells are separated. So now this will develop into a embryo, one embryo, and this cell will develop into one more embryo. Okay. So the individuals produced by this method will be resemble each other, and also they will be same sex. They are identical twins. Fraternal twins, that is different. Okay, here two eggs and two sperms, two separate eggs and sperms, they fertilized and they develop the offsprings. So these two individuals will not be identical, and also they may be same sex or different sex. So okay, that is dizygotic twins. So this is the embryonic development. Once the embryo is developed, the extra embryonic membranes are formed around the embryo. That is amnion, chorion, allantois, yolk sacs. So these are all the different extra embryonic membranes around the embryo. This is actually the placenta. Placenta is there in two parts, actually the fetal placenta and also the maternal portion of the placenta. Placenta which connects the developing embryo with the mother. What is the role of the embryonic membranes? What are the functions of the embryonic membranes? These embryonic membranes protects the embryo from desiccation, mechanical shock, and also it helps the embryo for absorption of nutrients and the exchange of gases. This is the structure of the embryonic development. Now look at the embryo and the membranes around the embryo. Chorion, allantois, yolk sac, these are the extra embryonic membranes around the embryo. Now, the gestation period. In human, the gestation period is for about 280 days. And that will be subdivided into 3 trimesters. The first 3 months are first trimester, and the second 3 months are second trimesters, and the last 3 months are third trimesters. Totally 9 months. The gestation period is for about 9 months. And in each trimester, the specific organs are formed. Okay, in the first trimester, what are the organs formed? Heart, limbs, lungs, liver, external genitalia, all these organs are formed. And in the second trimester, eyelids, eyelashes, and then fine hairs, muscle tissue, bones. So all these are developed in the second trimester. And in the third trimester, the embryo is fully developed and it is getting ready for the delivery. Now parturition. What is parturition? So this is the process of giving birth to the baby. This is actually the delivery of the baby. That is parturition. Okay, the events that takes place during the expel of the infant from the uterus, that is collectively called as labor. So what are the things you know about parturition? First, Braxton-Hicks contraction. What is Braxton-Hicks contraction? And during the time of pregnancy, there will be weak and strong contractions of the uterus. These contractions are called Braxton-Hicks contraction that leads to false labor. So during the time of pregnancy, there will be periodic contractions of the uterus. This will produce some pain for the mother. That mother is actually false labor. False labor. Okay, now coming to one more process, that is neurohumoral reflex, otherwise fetal ejection reflex. This is due to the dilation of the cervix of the uterus and the vaginal canal, resulting in this reflex. Okay. And one more hormone is responsible for this, for the process of delivery, for the process of parturition. That is oxytocin. Oxytocin, that is secreted by pituitary gland. Okay, actually the neurohypophysis of the pituitary gland produces oxytocin, that stimulate the contraction of the uterine muscles. As a result, the uterus will be contracted and relaxed. So this will cause childbirth. This will cause childbirth. And another one hormone, relaxin, is secreted by the placenta and also by corpus luteum. It also promotes parturition. So different factors, different hormones, that are responsible for parturition. Okay. Oxytocin is also involved. At the same time, relaxin is also involved. Okay. How relaxin helps in parturition? The relaxin, it promotes parturition by relaxing the pelvic joints and dilation of the cervix. Okay, now these are the different events of parturition, different stages. So the next is lactation. It is the production of milk by the mammary glands. So during this period, the hormones estrogen, progesterone, human placental lactogens, so these levels will be high. And these hormones will stimulate the hypothalamus and produce prolactin releasing factor. And then this prolactin releasing factor stimulate pituitary gland to produce prolactin. And then this prolactin is played a vital role in the production of milk. Okay, prolactin is produced by pituitary, that is needed for the production of milk, that is lactogenesis. And this reflex is actually let down reflex. The let down reflex is caused by oxytocin. Okay, that is the actual ejection of milk from the alveoli of the mammary gland. Colostrum. So that the milk which is produced by the female immediately after the birth, that is colostrum. So what is the importance of this colostrum? So it is the antimicrobial agent. It acts as an antimicrobial agent. Otherwise you can say this colostrum is rich in IgA antibodies. These antibodies will fight against the microbes. Okay, this will help and protect the infant's digestive tract against bacterial infection. And not only this, it also contains some nutrients like proteins, vitamins, minerals. Okay, so that is needed for the child. So that only doctors are advising breast milk is fully sufficient till about 6 months of the age. So no other food is need for the developing child. Only the mother milk is enough. Okay, now the lesson is over.